Right, back now. This is the last of the regular stages. This is Astro Mans stage, which of course is not going to have Astro Man at the end of it because this is a secondary playable stage. And the poor bastard's already dead. So we have, straight up we're greeted by frogs atop frogs and jumping puzzles, which sort of sets the tone for the entire fucking stage when you get right down to it. None of this shit makes any sense. Again, there is a trick to getting that CD down there. I don't know what it is, and I can't be fact figuring it out, so we're just going to roll with this. And also, crocodile robots that hide in black holes of oil. Trick to getting that CD is you need to double jump immediately upon hitting the platform. As you'll see here, the same trick applies. Even though in this case it's just to survive and not to grab some crappy CD. So we're still grabbing the CDs that are sort of right in our path, and I'm not sure why. It's not like I'm ever going to actually complete all the CD stuff. As you see the game, they're being sort of a dick about the whole thing and bringing its usual pixel bitching to the search for CDs. And I'm going the wrong way. I've come too far to the right, so it's not going to find what I want. Or possibly it is. No, I've got to go back further to the left. Get the CD, not that it makes any goddamn difference. Fucking CDs. And now we get down here. There's a trick to this one as well, which I'm pretty certain I actually fucked up. You need to sort of leap. You need to have the flamethrower equipped as you drop down. Anyway, now the interesting little gimmick for this section of the stage is that the enemies appear out of the blob stuff behind you. And that includes stuff like the rocket birds we've seen from a couple of other stages. You do of course get the shapes in the background to tell you when one's about to pop out and fuck you. Doesn't really make much difference because honestly it's a fairly easy section. As long as you're careful, which I'm usually not. Fucking birds. Again, this is a piss easy section as long as you actually think before you move. And you get into what is heralded off by a boss area, but is in fact not a boss fight in the least. It's a memory pattern. As you see me fuck it up by jumping wrong right there, and then it shoots at you a few times to prove a point or something. I don't fucking know. Get the right 3, it's happy with you, you go out. Really doesn't count as a fucking boss fight in the least. I already got the CD from this area before, but I'm just showing you what you can do with the weapons. You'll see use of another weapon in a second. Going to try and get that CD first. Don't know why, but hey. Probably going to take multiple shots because the CD finding in this game is fucking retarded. It pixel bitches like a motherfucker. And you see the other weapon. This is the the magic car that's from Megaman. It can be used to pick up things from behind walls. And now we get to the floating platform stage. And of course it wouldn't be a floating platform stage without something on top of the platforms to make not jumping quickly fatal. Fucking Megaman games. I get Sniper Joe here who's just a victim. And then the ladder. And again, another CD. The thing with the CDs is that you only get the warning for like the first few seconds. And then they disappear. And if you don't remember exactly where you were supposed to go, you don't get re-shown it until we make the next run through of the stage. Now here's the little gimmick for this last section of Megaman stage, is the disappearing, reappearing virtual blocks. As you see here, you've got to back up and come back over them, while the crocodile attempts to, well, bite your feet off, basically. So you jump along, you do not want to fuck this one up because there's no second chances down the bottom. I'm not even going to try and get that CD. Fucking crocodiles in the way, and I don't like going near crocodiles at the best of times. Now we get to the cunt part of the stage. Excuse my French. Well, it's not really French, but anyway, Middle English. There's 2 ways you can see that go up here. The left way looks like it leads somewhere. It doesn't. It's a trap to make you fall back down. So we get a second one of these. Slightly more complicated than the first one. Careful with your jumping. Luckily you don't actually have to get the rhythm right or I would be completely screwed. Done, we're through. Last section of this stage, we run, we jump over giant spiked dildo looking things. We get screwed up by one of the most basic enemies in the games. And we'll tell you, yes, you can die from being crushed against the roofs there. It doesn't need to be a spike to screw you up. And this is the last area before the actual boss, so of course we get the pickups. Though if you were actually going to fight, you'd use them. If you were actually going to fight Astro Man, you'd be using that card trick anyway to fight him. It's the weapon for dealing with him. So we're through with all the regular stages, having maxed out, well, not quite maxed out, but close to our screws, and got all the upgrades and shit. So now we got the crystal stage. Despite the fact that it gets its own stage on the fucking map, it's really not important at all. So I'm just going to let it sit here while I talk for a bit. All it consists of is 8 separate weapon challenges. A little single screen for each weapon to show that you actually know how to select it and use it. It's probably closer to a puzzle than anything else in the Mega Man games, because you do actually have to think for a few seconds sometimes. It's not just, oh, how do I go from A to B by jumping rapidly? It actually requires you to sort of think about the weapon usage for a split second or so. As you see that little video jump there as we go into the second video that actually has the stage in it. So we're going into the first one. This is the lightning bolt one. You just got to stand in the right place so that the lightning bolts come down on all 4 of them. Those screws are automatically collected. They're worth 100 screws each. So if you didn't have any upgrades before you got into this level, you're probably going to be able to afford them afterwards. And as far as I know, you can keep coming back to grind it. Copy vision here. So we, as you see me use the wrong one, they are color-coded, by the way, to tell you what to use. We abuse the game's clipping right there with Copy Man. Pretty much all the stages are just like this. Only goes for a couple of minutes. This one's the ice one. We need to form a barrier and kick it down there so that it will break it up for us. More screws. There's no point collecting because I don't actually get any more screws for them. I've maxed out at this point. This is the biggest pain in the ass one. You'll see me come back to it later. That requires an ability that they don't actually tell you you have on a particular weapon. Regular drill here, or missile drill. Explode it far enough in front of it that it breaks into 2 and hits the right target. Relatively simple. Almost all of them are actually pretty piss simple when you think of it. Magic Man's one, the card trick, because the card can be fired vertically, unlike every other weapon Mega Man has. I have no idea why he can work out how to throw a card up in the air but can't, look up. This is the Tengu Blade, because the Tengu Blade bounces off walls, for those of you who hadn't worked that part out yet. And when I actually select the right weapon, and it's not that one. Yeah. Basically, the entire gimmick of this stage is to teach you the little tricks of the weapon that you might not otherwise realise, because they are kind of useful in the last set of 3 stages, and then the boss rush. Some of them, on the other hand, are just so ridiculously straightforward, as you see me fuck that up entirely, that I question anyone who could have made it this far without realising the weapons work that way. No idea how people could fuck that part up. There's literally 2 bits I should say, that kind of require things that aren't entirely demonstrated. Yeah, and this is the only one that's actually moderately difficult. Is while it's not actually explained in game, the remote mine can be guided while you use it. As you see me just fuck it up right there. And needs to be guided up and then down through the gap to get it. Other than that, it's all really straightforward, and that's all 8 of them done right there, I believe. So now we can go out, and the King's Tower stage is unlocked once we get out of here. As you see the maxed out screws there, you can't have more than 999, because 99 screws already makes you a complete slut. And we'll be back next time whenever the fuck I feel like it.